over the last few days here. Yeah, I mean, it's been really intriguing and wonderful at the same time, because God is giving us the time and the space that we need, chosen one. He's giving us the time and the space that we need to do our thing. And he's revealing more about the enemy's tactics and the enemy's schemes. And yeah, I've come across some shady stuff going on in a particular area. And so we're working out that salvation as to what we're going to do about it. But in the meantime, yeah, because I don't know how. I don't know. It had to do with radio frequency poisoning. But anyway, that's the thing. And we've got the power and authority on the inside of us, chosen one, to not allow the devil to continue to play head games. Remember, that's all the devil got, head games. That's it. Never forget that. Put that in the comment below. Okay? Yeah, the devil has head games. That's it. The devil has head games. Just like narcissists. But you got to remember, these narcissists, they cannot stop heightened awareness. That's what I try to tell y'all. Is that it don't matter what. Never forget, no weapon formed against thee shall prosper. Okay? Thank you. All right, for putting that in the comment. This is your Motivational Monday message. I am Michelle Dickey, your host for CHA's Motivational Monday show. Streaming on the YouTube channel, Narcissism and Cognitive Dissonance, where trauma healing and spiritual growth are front and center while combating radio frequencies for healthier living. And so that's the other thing. God's been revealing it to me. It's all part of that heightened awareness. What the heck is going on? Because we know that we are in a spiritual battle for the mind. It's psychological warfare in the spiritual awakening. So I'm like, okay, so I noticed this and I noticed that. I'm like, all right, so we're going to fix this. We got solution for that. We're like, all right, well, how are they doing this? Oh, okay. Get that heightened awareness. So it does not matter what the devil tries to dish out or what they tries to throw out. Because I tell y'all often, stop and think. If the devil's trying to attack you with something, think about what it is. Because the only thing it can be is what you to work in the past. It's all part of that heightened awareness. The narcissist, the devil, evil narcissist cannot stop that heightened awareness. Because when you become aware that, the enemy's using that tactic. Okay, for example, I honestly, this is not a secret because the devil tried to use it. But he also does it because he thinks that it bothers me or has some negative effect on me, and it doesn't. See, that's the thing. But the smell of weed, pot, I don't like it. I don't like the smell of it. And pollen, after it's been in the sun for a while, tends to have that smell as well. So I know the difference. But I don't care for the smell of it. And I don't like it. And because I don't like it, the enemy tried to use it to attack. There's been several times that there's some cannabis users that walk by my unit and the AC's running. Oh, yeah. Because, the air conditioner is going to bring that stuff in, right? So I'll get a smell of that every once in a while through the air conditioner. And I was like, oh, gosh, really? That again? That's what I'm saying, that heightened awareness. You just know that, that spiritual wickedness in high places. Because the devil knows. I was like, really? You'll walk by my unit at that exact moment that my AC happens to come on because it's on auto, right? So it'll run on automatic. So the devil sends somebody smoking a joint, walking past my unit, knowing that the smell of pot is going to enter my unit briefly, and he knows I don't like it, so he's trying to get on my nerves with it. Well, it don't bother me. I'm just like, okay, and that's what I'm saying. Y'all, he has no new tricks, all right? The devil and these narcissists, they have no new tricks. And so whenever he does that, and he does it every once in a while, and he thinks that it bothers me, and it doesn't. I catch the smell and I'm like, oh, wow. And then sometimes I catch a certain smell and I'm like, whoa, that must be the expensive stuff. I can tell the difference, but I don't like it. And it's just, I know it's funny. My dissertation happened to be about cannabis use disorder and psychosis and things like that. So anyhow, and so it's always been an interest of mine, but I don't like the smell of it. I never have. Okay. Anyhow, that's just an example I have for y'all, and only because I don't like it that the devil wants to use it. Okay. And so, yes. All right. Yes. It can. It leads to psychosis. Absolutely. But you got to remember that there's radio frequency poisoning involved here as well. So y'all got to remember that the evil narcissists and stuff are not going to stop heightened awareness. When God awakens us to all this narcissism and the narcissist and the enemy's games, the head game, that's all he's got. And so he just tried to play head games. He'd send somebody across my path there, right outside my unit, and knowing the AC coming on right at that time, and no, that's not a coincidence. Remember, y'all, chosen ones, we don't believe in coincidences. There's no coincidences inside that matrix. And the spiritual, it's like the human host don't know why they doing it, but we know because we can spiritually discern. But yes, psychosis and cannabis there's a correlation. Yes, I've got tons of articles. Even I've done the commentary. If y'all have not read my narrative commentary, okay, you got to remember that was during a season before I knew about the spiritual side and spiritual disorders, being narcissism as a spiritual disorder, okay? You can find that article on the website. That link is listed below for quicker access. Yes. Okay, it is in the Journal of Psychology and Psychotherapy, and it's called Marijuana in the 21st Century. Okay, it is the covert inducer. Okay, how cannabis is a covert inducer of psychosis, if you will. That's just a synopsis for you all. But I did that article in 2019. And so you can find that. You'll find the link in the navigation drop down menu. Okay, the BTBW magazine, my books / other publications. You'll find that on that page of the website. So you might have, Chris. You might have. I mentioned it a few times, and I believe, if I haven't done so, I should put it in the academy, huh? I should share it there for everybody there as well. So I'm going to come on over here and, I know it's been quite a few minutes, but I just want to get right into it and tell y'all that it does not matter what the enemy tries to do. And, the heightened awareness is there. Once God awakens us and we become aware of narcissism and the fact that it's a spiritual disorder, and that no matter what these evil narcissists try to do, they're not going to stop our heightened awareness. And that doesn't just mean our surroundings. That means about ourselves. And then now, our autonomic nervous system, our inner child. I mean, my goodness, that sucker's a biological antenna. More about that elsewhere. But I tell you, I mean, he or she, our inner child, y'all, fellow warriors, our inner child, it'll pick stuff up. Oh, yeah, it'll pick stuff up. And that's part of our awareness. And I can tell you, it's beautiful, too, because God's like, yeah, I'm going to show you something. Oh, I love it when God does that. Yeah, I love it when he does that. He's like, he says, all right, I want you to go here. And I'm like, well, okay, I'm not going to question God. I don't ask him why. He said, well, I'm going to show you something. I'm like, okay, then. So when he shows us something, he's revealing another tactic of the enemy. He's revealing something else that's been hiding in plain sight. And strong intuition, that's it right there. Oh my gosh, we definitely learned to not ignore that sucker. Do not ignore your intuition. Oh my gosh, wow. Yeah, we don't do that anymore. Okay, so our heightened awareness, that's right. And with the heightened awareness, our intuition gets stronger because we increase with the increase of God. Right? Yeah, Colossians 2:19. Right? We increase with the increase of God. So I want y'all to drop that in the comment below. Increasing with God. Because that's what's happening. We are increasing with God. And it's that heightened awareness. It's all about that heightened awareness. Because all these little things that have been around our whole lives. And we didn't even notice it until God awakened us. So, naturally, he's going to show us all, right? He tells us that. He's going to reveal all. Remember when Jesus told us? He said, yeah, and the Comforter comes, he's going to reveal some more stuff. Right there in the book of John, we covered it. I'm paraphrasing. But yeah, he said the Comforter, yeah, when he comes, the Holy Spirit, oh, man, he's just going to reveal some more stuff. God's revealing all, y'all, all. And patterns. And that's why I pay attention to those real close. Yes, I do. Patterns. And I'm going to give y'all an example. Okay? It had to do with animated salt molecules, aka bugs. All right? The cycle. Okay? Because of the chemical makeup of them. I talk a lot about this on the Patreon channel. And listen, I got some stuff coming to show you all. Right there on the Patreon channel as well. Okay, so just hang tight. I'm working on it. I got some stuff. I got some stuff to show you what I'm talking about. How they manifest into those robots. It's really what they are. Is they're robots. And all they're doing is with their antenna is they're just looking for another salt granule or what have you. That frequency. They're just looking for frequencies. Okay, anyway, that's their food. It's the salt. Okay, that's their food. They're not interested in your taco. They're not interested in, no, we learned this. They're not interested in your ice cream. They're not interested in your food. They want the salt. They want the salt. That's it. They don't want the food because they don't have teeth. They can't eat. They don't hear. They don't smell. They don't taste. They sense. Those antennas send frequencies and salt. When it's a round black heated granule, it puts out frequency, and that's what they're looking for. That's what they're after, and dust. Okay, anyhow, so the cycle, patterns. Okay, patterns. All right, yes, I'll get to that in just a moment. The patterns are the little bitty ones that like to come down from a cobweb, if you will. We get those when it shows up. And then shortly after that, the next one you see is going to be one of these little, it's like a little, I call it a water bug. It's like a water beetle, little thing. Okay? All right. And then shortly after that, you would see like a cockroach. It's a repeat. Remember, the Matrix and these narcissists suck on repeat. Okay? It's a cycle over and over again. So it's like anytime I see that, I'm like, oh, but here's the thing though. How they originate from this little, a bunch of salt that come together, dust and salt that come together, the color white, which happens to match the color of the paint inside the room. Not a coincidence. And so when I see they form this little shape, and I watch them dancing to the Earth's low rumble. That's the frequency that they're moving to go around and collect more, right? And as they collect more dust and get more heat, they start to cook. And that's how they start to get their color. And as they get their color, right, they start to get those antennas, and that's when they start to look really creepy, right? Yeah, that's all they are. Animated salt molecules that are robot looking for frequencies. And they're just sent across our path to try and keep the ANS traumatized. That's all. Yeah, they're used as a fear-mongering tool. So that's why I say the best pest control is keep as much dust out of your environment as possible. You're good to go. Okay, and so it's the pattern. So I pay attention to that kind of stuff. I'm like, oh, okay. So then you know what the devil's going to try to do next, right? That's what I'm saying, is that the evil narcissist can't stop this kind of heightened awareness. You're paying attention to this stuff because we're not allowing the devil. See, that's the other thing, chosen ones. We're not allowing the devil or these narcissists to distract us from what it is that God is revealing to us. Okay? So, yeah, the more aware we become and the more cemented in the spiritual we become, that absolutely. Hey, y'all. Okay. All right. Michael's asking, because we were talking about the psychosis, right. Okay. Associated with cannabis use, because I used that as an example of one of the attacks that the devil likes to try and launch on me. Because he knows I don't like the smell of pot. But it don't bother me or anything like that. And like I said earlier, that I'm like, I can tell the difference between whether it's the really expensive stuff or not so. I can tell the difference. Either way, I don't like the smell, so what? But, yeah, the air conditioner is bringing in air from the outside, right? There you go. Okay, anyhow, and it goes away. I mean, whatever, it is what it is. But I know it's not a coincidence. The air conditioner coming on at that exact moment and that person walked by with it. Oh, okay. So what do I make of the so-called medical cannabis use? That's for another thing. I'm not an advocate for cannabis use, period. I'm just going to be blunt. I'm going to tell you the truth. I am not an advocate for cannabis use, period. I don't care what the circumstances are. I am not, no. Nope, I don't approve of it at all. So, there you go. But I have to keep that bias out of my dissertation, which I do. And we're just focusing on, we need to collect this data. My personal feelings about it don't matter when it comes to the research. Okay, so, and people who think they're true followers of Christ appear as having a mass shared psychosis to those without eyes to see. Well, yeah, I see where you're coming from. I can see where you're coming from with that, because we're the ones that get labeled as crazy because we're not conforming to this world. So as chosen ones, true blue chosen one, the narcissists who claim to be a Christian are going to turn around and call us crazy, saying that we're the ones that have psychosis because we're not conforming to their spirit of religion. We're not conforming to the world. Well, we're doing what God tells us to do. God tells us, Romans 12, verse 2, be not conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of the mind. That's what's happening. Part of the renewing of the mind is getting a heightened awareness. And these evil narcissists cannot stop that. But I know where you're coming from. I can see it. I can see it. Because remember how Jesus was falsely accused of being the devil himself. So it's not a surprise that chosen ones were out here doing the right thing. And every time we try to do the right thing, it's like, man, they just want to sit there and call us the bad guy because we're trying to do the right thing. Or we are doing the right thing. Because we're letting God guide our step. We've got a conscience, right? We got to hold steadfast. We got to keep doing all to keep standing upright in the Lord. The only way you're going to stand upright in the Lord is by doing the right thing. Are you putting that shopping cart back where it in the shopping cart return or back in the store? Okay, there's your integrity. God's looking for that. Are you doing the right thing? Okay, are you learning how to do the opposite of what the Matrix tells you to do about certain things, right? Yeah, because we learned something that evil narcissists, they cannot stop this heightened awareness. I don't care what they try to do, because they have to let go of our mind, chosen one. They have to let go. I can tell you right now, I know the devil's been trying to use that radio frequency. He's been trying to put me back to sleep the moment that God awakened me. Just like some of y'all, and I know you've been fighting it too. But we keep fighting a good fight. Because the devil and his narcissist been trying to put me back to sleep ever since God awakened me. And even to this day, there's some evildoers trying to pull some shenanigans. Because I can tell the high-low frequency. I'm like, ooh, I hear that. Oh, I see what they're trying to do. They're trying to get my mind numbed. I'm not stupid. I can see what they're trying to do. I can see how something's been rigged up. Oh, wait a minute. You know what I'm saying? A heightened awareness. Pattern. Tell a story. So we pay attention to this stuff. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, how's that working in tandem? Oh, every 9 minutes. Every 9 minutes, the air conditioner runs for 3 minutes. That's all it takes to try and grab a hole. And then 6 minutes, it stops. Then it starts back up again, 3 minutes. So I was like, wow, that's 9 minutes of manipulation. Every 9 minutes, all day long, with that thing being on in the background. If you don't know that's what it's doing, eventually you're going to develop that lethargy. Because that high-low frequency, if you've got excess salt mucus in the head, oh yeah, it can grab a hole. And before long, You're feeling aloof. And let's say you're watching TV. Oh man, that cheeseburger looks really good. Now you're going to go buy on impulse because you just, lost your self-thinking ability. That's what I'm talking about, heightened awareness. Y'all paying attention to this stuff. Patterns. Patterns tell a story. We don't ignore this stuff. That's why God said, I will not have you ignorant, my brethren. And remember, okay, where he tells us that lest Satan should get an advantage of us, but we are aware of his devices. This is part of it. At how the Matrix is using radio frequency poisoning to try and put us back to sleep. It's not going to work. No weapon formed against thee shall prosper. Not only that, never forget the importance of Psalm 105:15 when God said, he said, touch not my anointed and do my prophets no harm. And he is not playing about that. That's why he said that heightened awareness. Said, you know what? He said, they trying to pull that crap. He said, all right, watch this. Ooh! I hear it when God says, watch this. They trying to pull this crap. They trying to poison with that radio frequency over there. They trying to set that up over there. All right, with that radio frequency. And God says, oh yeah? Okay, watch this. God says, all right, I'm going to take what the devil dishes out and I'm going to flip it for my glory. That's what God does. God takes what the devil dishes out and uses it for his glory. He says, oh, okay, they think that they playing a one-upmanship with the previous ex-psycho roommate and Jezebel case study. They trying to play a one-upmanship. God says, watch this. God says, I got your back. God said, nah. He said, they ain't got nothing on this heightened awareness. Because the more aware you are, the less the enemy's attacks will affect you. No weapon formed against thee shall prosper. Because you are aware. I tell y'all this for a reason. The more aware you become, okay, and radio frequencies all around us, but you got to be aware of it. You got to know where it's coming from, how your autonomic nervous system is responding to that heightened awareness. Because once you know where it's coming from and that your ANS is the antenna detecting it, you're like, oh, and you can put two and two together. That's God revealing it. It says, oh, okay, well, this is how we're going to fix that. This is how we're going to mitigate that. We're going to solve this problem. Oh, and because as soon as you become aware of it, it can no longer have the negative effect on you. That's what I'm trying to tell y'all. These evil narcissists cannot stop heightened awareness. I don't care what they try to do because there's nothing new under the sun. Everything that they doing has already been tried by the ex-psycho roommate and by society at large, the Matrix. Everything they're trying to do has already been tried. And this will be like the third time trying to rig up an electrocution chamber. But we ain't running around chasing our tail this time. But I catching stuff. And I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah, I will bring y'all a lot more about all that later on. But just know the heightened awareness. Okay? And that's why I'm not giving details right now. Because it's all about the heightened awareness. I just need to give y'all that example. Is that when God reveals, he reveals. There ain't no stopping it. Remember we said the devil and these narcissists cannot stop God. This is a classic example. You have to understand that. This is your motivation to keep going because they ain't going to be able to stop you getting heightened awareness. The more aware, even if it's just a little bit each day. A little bit each day. Remember, God is not going to reveal things to you until he sees that you are ready. That's the other thing. Right? That heightened awareness. Because let me tell you, it takes a little while. Sometimes it can take a few days to go, whoa. Right? You got to process that. When God reveals something, it's like, wait a minute. Because we have to reflect, like our whole lives. We've been lied to about so many things. So when God reveals, like, oh, the enemy up to, oh. The enemy trying to, oh. And so it does. And it can take its toll, but you piece together the puzzle, and you're like, oh, now I can see the bigger picture. Right? And that's that. But these evil narcissists will never, ever, ever be able to stop heightened awareness. Because that's God doing it. God is the one giving us the heightened awareness that we need to combat the radio frequency for healthier living, because we can do that. It's all about choices. We get to make the choices. Plus, we no longer allow the enemy to mess with our heads like that, because we become aware. Oh, and again, that's all the devil has is head game. Right? Just trying to play head game. That's it. As I've said before, once you really let that sink in, that's all the devil has is head games. Oh man, you're like, oh, that again, oh, and really, you're just like, oh, and these narcissists, just like, you know how they poke and prod all the time, right? Trying to get that emotional reaction out of you. Eventually, you were like, you can see right through them. You're like, oh, I see what you're trying to do. Same thing happens in the spiritual. When God reveals what the devil up to you, that again. Because again, you become familiar with everything that the devil's trying to do. And he's been trying to do it our whole life. It's just now we're getting that heightened awareness about it. Becoming more aware. Awareness is key, man. Let me tell you. In God's reality, you've got to be aware and vigilant all the time, right? He tells us this because the devil, our adversary, is always roaming about seeking whom he can devour. The chosen ones, we got the power and authority on the inside of us from the Godhead to not allow him to devour. In other words, we don't allow him to play head games. Like, oh, you think, never mind. Like I said earlier, when God says, oh, the devil's trying, watch this. Put a stop to it right then and there. Thwart the fiery darts. How do we do that? With God's spiritual armor. That's how we do it. And then not only that, with God all things are possible. And it is through Christ who strengthens us that we do this. That we put a stop to what the enemy's trying to do. Absolutely. So, right, and he without faith is sin. Right, yeah, we don't put, no. We are not to be people pleasers. God's very clear about that. We are to be God's pleasers, not men pleasers. We learned that. That's part of our trauma healing, is that we stop being people pleasers. Set boundaries, learn to say no. We tell these evil narcissists no. We don't let them, no, and we enforce those boundaries. Right? Yes. Okay, that's a big one right there. As part of the heightened awareness, like, oh, because we can see what they're trying to do. And so we no longer allow them to do that. And so, no, don't put other people before yourself. We did that far too long. That's how we got taken advantage of, chosen one. And so, no issues in that area, Chris. Right, and then when you talk about the being hypnotized, sitting in front of the TV, because that'll do it. That tell-lie vision, or tell-a-vision, it is a hypnosis machine. Nothing but radio frequency. Okay, with the high and low frequency that will just numb the brain. Literally numb the brain. But you got to remember, in order for that to be effective, there has to be excessive salt, sugars. The body's internal environment has to be in the right condition in order for any of that to have its negative intended effect. That's why I'm saying heightened awareness. You become aware of it. You know where it's coming from. You're like, oh, I feel what that's trying to do. Never mind. Boom. And you break the connection. Well, you make the connection, but you break the attempt, if you will. You block the attempt of the radio frequency from trying to do anything anymore. Because I was like, yeah, the devil's always going to try to put us back to sleep, but the evil narcissist cannot stop heightened awareness, so it's not going to happen. Like I've told y'all before, that when God awakened us to all of this, he awakened our subconscious mind. So what happens is our conscious becomes conscious of the subconscious. So now we're like, oh. And then we become what now we're becoming more aware of our autonomic nervous system, our inner child. So the more aware of it we become, and we let her or him, be the antenna and threat detector that it is. Oh, our inner child teaching us a lot too. That's God. Got to remember that. God designed our biological bodies so strategically. And so, yeah, zonked in front of the television, hypnotized. Oh, yeah, we see it all the time. And chosen one, glory be to God, that did not happen to us. I'm grateful every day that God awakened us. I know it's challenging. Yeah, it's challenging. But you know, challenges can be overcome. There's another motivational message right there. Challenges can be overcome. Let's drop that in the comments below, even on the replay. Challenges can be overcome. Because they can. Challenges. So you have your challenges in the spiritual awakening, but like all challenges, they can be overcome. And they will be. Because with God, all things are possible. And so we wonder sometimes, yeah, it does. It makes you wonder, it's like, what did people do with their day before TV and radio arrived? Well, my gosh, I'm sure we can think of a ton of things. Okay? I'm sure we can think of a ton of things that they occupied their time with. Productive things. You know, who knows? But I can tell you that without TV and radio, yeah, what do you do without all that? Right? What do you do? But see, in today's day and age, if you want to be in business, you kind of have to be in TV and radio in some way, shape, or form, or at least across social media, posting, advertising, putting yourself out there so you can build your business, build your ministry. You know, it is what it is. I mean, how else are you going to do that? There you go. Think about that for a moment. Yeah, so we got to become aware. Because they're digital demons. Yeah, we got digital demons that like to rear their ugly head every once in a while. And yes, they can hide among the algorithms. We know this. So thank you. Challenges can be overcome. That's it. Glory be to God right there. And I had to get on here and let y'all know that the heightened awareness, it ain't going to get stopped. Can't nothing stop it. You know, once we become aware of radio frequency being used to manipulate the weather, right, because it's used to manipulate a lot of things. Not just our ANS, but the weather. Yeah, how people think. It's used for mind control. It's used for behavior control. Because after all, the mind behaviors, really, it is. And it's used in everything. Digital, obviously. And so you wonder, you know. But you have to think about before TV and radio and all that frequencies existed also. Think about music. Think about musical instruments. Yeah. I mean, those are frequencies. Think about singing. Those are frequencies. Yeah, I mean, it's all around us. And so we just have to be more aware of it. And then also, like, where's it at? You know, as far as, you know, what's the metal that's involved? I mean, there's all kinds of things to think about there. But you got to keep that in mind that your heightened awareness, it's not going to get stopped. Well, I mean, okay, you could let it. But why would you want to do that? Why would you want to let the heightened awareness stop? I know I don't. Because the heightened awareness is part of God's divine protection. That's a big one right there. Having the heightened awareness that we need. A big part of God's divine protection. And I'm grateful for it. So, yeah, Motivational Mondays are used as chances to advertise, but we're doing it a little bit differently. So I highly encourage y'all to check it out. Okay, part of the heightened awareness, purging that subconscious of a bunch of garbage that we've been taught our entire life. Oh, gosh. this big make-believe world that we live in. The matrix, narcissistic matrix that we live in. Yeah, you can learn a lot more about all of that. Case study results, personal testimony, and more right on the Patreon channel. Yeah, that link is listed below for quicker access. Plus, we have, listen, I can't control the occasional motorcycle or siren or what have you out there. That's outside of my control. Now, the Patreon digital product line, the shop link is also listed below, because you will find products that go with our combating radio frequency for healthier living. Yeah, to help y'all with that detox. Yeah, making healthier choices, high protein, low carb, things like that. And yeah, that's why I say y'all get those and put them on an external hard drive or a thumb drive. You got them for life. There's your value. And you go back to those anytime you need. And we got more coming. And then plus there's some videos that I have put up now for sale on the shop side of things. One of them happened to be the spiritual awakening versus the great awakening, because they're not the same thing. And you can download that video for just $7. Because it's something to remember, something to understand, that when we talk about the spiritual awakening, we're not talking about no great awakening. See, there's a lot of people, okay, who got tricked into thinking that they're in the spiritual awakening, or that they are being spiritually awakened by a great awakening. The great awakening is political. Has nothing to do with the God Spirit and the Godhead. Has nothing to do with the Holy Spirit. The spiritual awakening is all Holy Spirit related. Chosen ones awakening and getting into God's reality and seeing this fake world for what it really is. The matrix, a control system that uses radio frequency for mind control on the masses, on everybody it possibly can. And so when you realize that, you get that heightened awareness, there you are in the spiritual awakening. That, right? And you accept the fact that, oh, we've been lied to since birth about a lot of things. We were groomed since birth to tolerate all that abuse and traumatization. And so now we're like, oh, no more. Getting that heightened awareness, we're no longer tolerating it. We're no longer allowing ourselves to be easily manipulated. Because we can see it now. Glory be to God. And so that's that. So, okay, right, getting into your guitar, awesome. Okay, right, acoustic, so it's not too bad with the radio frequency. That's true, y'all. Not everything that puts out frequency is bad. Okay, you got to remember that as well. Not everything that puts out frequency is bad. Like singing, that's not a bad thing. Playing your guitar, playing your instrument, that's not a bad thing. I was just using that as an example to let y'all know that frequencies have been around for a long time. It's just over the years, of course, it's more sophisticated with all of the technology and things like that. So, right, we don't want to give up. No, this heightened awareness is very special. Thank you. Yeah, we don't want to give it up for something so rubbish. And, yeah, no, you're not going to actually live without spiritual awareness anyway. Remember, to be spiritually minded is life and peace. See, I talk about how no one actually lives. You're not living life inside the matrix. Also on the Patreon channel, see? I've got a part 1 and there's a part 2. If it hasn't been published yet, it is on the way. We schedule some stuff there too. So stay tuned, all right? Patron, yes, and future patron. Got lots of stuff for you all over there. And we got more coming, because I talk about how we observe that no one actually lives inside the matrix. I mean, they walking around and stuff, but they ain't truly living. All right, because they're not spiritually minded. So anyhow, right, mass psychosis, ha ha ha, good connection. That's all part of the heightened awareness right there, the spiritual awareness. There you go. And well, why not go for it then? If you always want to learn the violin, go for it. What's stopping you? Go for it. I have heard, though, that when people start to learn how to play a violin, that it doesn't sound so great in the very beginning. However, as a chosen one, that could be very different. Because God gives us talents and gifts. If God put that on your spirit to want to learn it, guess what? It's part of that bag. There you go. And so, yeah, it would be. Yeah, it living death without spiritual. And, well, I can tell you, we don't know how those who are unaware do it. But when we think about before God awakened us, recognizing, let's put the shoe on the other foot here for a moment. We didn't know either until God awakened us. It's just that, not every, many are called, few are chosen. So you have to remember that as well. Okay, so don't, probably screechy in the beginning with the violin. I honestly, that's what I've been told. That's what I've heard. I think I had a family member that tried, and I vaguely remember it sounding that way, but it was so short-lived, I don't have a very good memory of it. Needless to say, it was so short-lived, right? But, yeah, if it's on your spirit, and God's putting it back on your spirit now, yeah, there you go. If God's putting something on your spirit to learn something new, or to learn to play this instrument, or to learn a new language, to learn something new, there's a reason. It's part of your calling. It's something that God needs you to do. Because it serves a purpose in the kingdom of God. And so because of that, you get that heightened awareness that these evil narcissists cannot stop. No matter what they try to do, they can't stop God. Nothing can stop God. Nothing can stop God. And so, well, there you go. Okay? If you've got, listen, we all have preferences when it comes to music and things that we like. And so a lot of times, part of our calling is going to be included in that somehow. So thank y'all for hitting the thumbs up. This motivational message. And reminders to let people know, and just to let the world know that chosen one, we get in that heightened awareness. There ain't nothing that can stop it. Because God is greater than all. God is the Almighty God. And so as I was telling y'all about the Patreon channel, as you'll learn, as I continue to bring y'all short videos for the free membership side, to give you more of a glimpse, sneak peek, if you will, previews. We got that playlist right on this channel. It says Patreon channel preview. And so you can check those out. Because you can unlock exclusive content on the Patreon channel for as little as $5 a month. And everything that goes into this ministry goes right back into our growing community of spiritual warriors for Christ. Right here at Consulting for Heightened Awareness, CHA. And I want y'all to realize that, you got to keep going. You got to keep going. And we don't allow the devil and his evil narcissists to try and take us out or play head games anymore. When I decided to start training like an athlete, the mind's made up. See, that's the thing, chosen one, when we make up our mind. Okay, we make up our mind about something. That's it. We don't allow the evil of this world to stop us from doing what it is God is instructing us to do. When he told me, he said, start training like an athlete. I said, yes, sir. Training like an athlete. Moving in silence, though. That's the other thing, chosen one. Part of the heightened awareness is when God puts something on our spirit to do. Okay? And no, running has never been my thing. But I do still get out here and speed walk. Running has never been my thing. I I mean, now if I gotta run, I can run. But I'm just saying, as far as jogging, no, that's never been my thing. Yeah. But when God puts something on our spirit, there's a reason. There's a reason, so don't ignore it. And it's part of the heightened awareness. And there's a reason that God does that. And so I know usually we go for about an hour, but we pretty much covered what we need to cover today to keep y'all motivated. All right, and so that wraps this one up for today. And so running is something you've been thinking of trying, okay? Well, if that's what you're up to, you can do the research. And I know that there is supposed to be, like, there's a proper way for your feet to hit the ground or however. So I would encourage y'all to make sure you look into that, do the research, things like that, to make sure you're doing it correctly, because no one ever showed me. Yeah, so all I know is that I've never been taught how to actually jog correctly. I mean, we can do, hey, listen, we can do what we need to do without even thinking about it because of our autonomic nervous system. You know what I'm saying? If we got to run, we can run. But I'm talking about as far as exercising and jogging. No one's ever taught me how to do it, but there's a correct way, apparently. That's what I was told, but still never taught the correct way. So you can look it up. All right, everybody, and keep on keeping on. Don't let the devil distract you. No. All right, keep on getting that heightened awareness, because I'm going to tell you, oh, yeah, because we're like, wait a minute, hold up. Things start to get familiar. You're like, wait a minute, that pattern, I know that pattern. And then you're like, oh. So then you can see what's going to come next. That's why we don't allow the devil to play head games, because that's all he's got. All right, everybody, so I'm sending love and light to all fellow warriors. Thank you for watching, listening, and for your continued support. Till next time, let's show some gratitude to the Heavenly Father, and you keep being you. In Jesus' name, amen.